HarperCollins presents One More for Christmas by Sarah Morgan, read by Lucy Tregear. I will honour Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol. Gayle. When Gayle Mitchell agreed to a live interview in her office, she hadn't expected her life to fall apart in such a spectacular fashion in front of an audience of millions. She was used to giving interviews and had no reason to think that this one might end in disaster. So she sat relaxed, even a little bored, as the crew set up the room. As usual, the lights were blinding and kicked out enough heat to roast a haunch of beef. Despite the frigid air conditioning, the fabric of Gayle's fitted black dress stuck to her thighs. Beyond the soaring glass walls of her office lay what she truly believed to be the most exciting city on earth. Also one of the most expensive. But these days Gayle didn't have to worry too much about that. Once the place had almost killed her, but that had been a long time ago. That memory contributed to the degree of satisfaction she felt in being up here, on top of the world, gazing down from her domain on the 50th floor. Like planting a stiletto on the body of an adversary, it was symbolic of victory. I won. She was far removed from those people scurrying along the freezing canyon-like streets of Manhattan, struggling to survive in a city that devoured the weak and the vulnerable. From her vantage point in her corner office, she could see the Empire State Building, the Rockefeller Center, and, in the distance, the broad splash of green that was Central Park. Gayle shifted in her chair as someone touched up her hair and makeup. The director was talking to the cameraman, discussing angles and light, while seated in the chair across from her the most junior female reporter on the morning show studied her notes with feverish attention. Rochelle Barnard. She was young, early 20s, a few years older than Gayle had been when she had hit the lowest point of her life. Nothing excited Gayle more than raw potential, and she saw plenty of it in Rochelle. You had to know what you were looking for, of course, and Gayle knew. It was there in the eyes, in the body language, in the attitude. And this woman had something else that Gayle always looked for: hunger. Hunger was the biggest motivator of all, and no one knew that better than her. She hadn't just been hungry, she'd been starving. Also desperate. But usually she managed to forget that part. She was a different woman now, and able to extend a hand to another woman who might need a boost. 10 minutes, Miss Mitchell. Gayle watched as the lighting guy adjusted the reflector. In a way, didn't she do much the same thing? She shone a light on people who would otherwise have remained in the dark. She changed lives, and she was about to change this woman's life. Put the notes down, she said. You don't need them. Rochelle glanced up. These are the questions they want me to ask. They only handed them to me 5 minutes ago. Because they want you to stumble and fall, Gayle thought. Are they the questions you would have chosen to ask? The woman rustled through the papers and pulled a face. Honestly? No, but this is what they want covered in the interview. Gayle leaned forward. Do you always do what other people tell you? Rochelle shook her head. Not always. Good to know. Because if you did, then you wouldn't be the woman I thought you were when I saw you present that short segment from Central Park last week. You saw that? Yes. Your questions were excellent, and you refused to let that weasel of a man wriggle out of answering. That interview was the reason you asked for me today? I've been wondering. You struck me as a young woman with untapped potential. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Rochelle sat straighter and smoothed her skirt. I can't believe I'm here. Howard usually does all the high-profile interviews. Why were people so accepting of adverse circumstances? So slow to realize their own power? But power came with risk, of course, and most people were averse to risk. Things are always the way they are until we change them, Gayle said. Be bold. Decide what you want and go.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?